Oh man, we got smoked last week. 3-11.
Yeah, that's pitiful, man. We got to do better this week. How'd you do, Philip?
I was 13-1.
Figures.
Nice, bud.
Thanks.
All right, let's go. Hi, welcome to week 11 of the I-Formation. I'm Jeff Gibbons.
And I'm John Moist.
Oh boy, did we stink it up last week. Us and most of the rest of the world.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Oversized and managed to get 8 right, was it? I think it was.
Yeah,
so
he caught me.
he caught you.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
We're even in picks now.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so much for the humbling. Those things happen, though, and we just live and learn. A lot of upsets this week and a lot of interesting outcomes. We had games that were decided by less than a field goal. We had games that were decided by officials. There was all kinds of things happened this week. So stick around, folks. We're going to tell you what we think is going to happen this week in the NFL. The pissed off Baltimore Ravens.
Welcome back to the I-Formation. Now we're going to make our picks for week number 11 of the NFL season, starting with a Thursday night who gives a damn between Tennessee and Jacksonville.
Tennessee and Jacksonville, yeah. Really, they needed to, Jacksonville needed a last minute call by an official, actually a mistake by an official, that the NFL has jumped on and said, oh, by the way, yeah, my bad. They did say they've acknowledged that should never have happened. The last play should have never got off and then they would have got the field goal, but, those things happen. They're going to need more than that. They're going to need late minute heroics, I think, this week. I think this is a close game. Neither one of these teams are really going to pull away from one another. I think this is a field goal game as much as we're going to give it coverage. I think, Jacks wins this at home because they're at home.
Yeah, I'm in the same place. Jacks at home by 3. Sounds right.
All right.
Low scoring.
Absolutely. Next, we got St. Louis going into Baltimore. Actually, let me frame this up a little bit. We've got the 2-8 lifetime Case Keenum going in to play the pissed off Baltimore Ravens, who had a victory or potential victory snatched away from them last week because of a bad call. And the league has actually weighed in and said my bad on that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's not going to do much for them, but ultimately, the one thing that I see about this, Baltimore, I think, has the advantage. They're one of 10 teams in the NFL this year that's kept under an average of 100 rushing yards given. And basically, all St. Louis has got now is Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
So you stuff the run, you win the game. Simple as that.
It may as well be Casey Kasem throwing the ball for St. Louis in this one. It's not going to make a difference. Baltimore's at home. They're pissed off. I'll look for a big game from Aiken, wide receiver out there that took the place of Smith and he went down.
Raggy roll! Yeah. Raggy roll! See who gets that reference. I'm saying 10 plus points, right?
Yeah, I like Baltimore here. They're going to be raising a little hell.
Nice job there.
Yep.
Quote the raisin, nevermore. All right, man. Next, we got Indianapolis going into Atlanta. We've got Matt Hasselbeck taking on the Falcons. Yeah. And all I can say about this one here is that Indy is 28th in pass defense.
Yeah.
Carve the turkey, dinner is served. Andrew Luck out of the picture now for 2 to 6 weeks with a plethora of injuries. Not going to be pretty. Yeah, Hasselbeck, all you guys out there thinking that he's probably going, oh yeah, well he did all right for a couple of games. Look what he played. He played, what was it, Jacksonville and Houston?
Yeah.
Big difference in them and the Atlanta Falcons. I think Matty Ice runs up and down. So yeah, I'm saying 14 plus on this.
I'm going to agree with that. I think that Indy is certainly not the team that without Andrew Luck, and Atlanta is just a good team at home, unlike the Tennessee Titans, who are not that good at home.
Nice.
Right, Paul?
Nice. Next, we got Washington going into Carolina. I think this is going to be a closer game than a lot of people give this credit for. I think that this is a touchdown game.
Yeah.
One score. Yeah, and I think at the end this is going to be one of those classic Superman pull it out in late fourth quarter deliveries where he marches his team down the field and beats them by a touchdown. It's going to be a good game to watch.
I know that Carolina's Cam Newton came out and said, and I like this, a lot of people really don't like Newton, and I'm not a big fan of him either. He's a little bit of a showboat. But he's been playing great football, and you can't take that away from him. And he said this week that if Tennessee doesn't like me celebrating when I score touchdowns, then they'd better stop me from scoring them. There you go.
Right out of Clark Kent's mouth, folks. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. So, yeah. I'd say it's a score. One score, but it'll be a great game to watch.
Washington's been playing well. It's put up 47 points there in New Orleans. Yeah. Yeah. Not so much against these Carolina Panthers defense.
Don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I like a touchdown.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. All right, next we got the New York Jets at Houston. And Houston just handed the Bengals their first loss of the year.
Yeah, Cincinnati, if they're going to lay an egg, now it's time to do it, I guess, you know.
Yeah, well, that's right. I think so. I just don't think that Houston's going to be able to generate as much offense as the Jets are going to be. No. And I think they beat the Jets. I think this is probably a 4-point game, one of those seesaw back and forth games.
23-19 or some foolish score like that. But I think that...
All right. Okay.
That's what I'm going to call 23-19 Jets, okay? But the Jets have number one pass defense in the game. Houston has been doing well with their pass, but it's going to come up against a brick wall this time, and I think that they're not going to put many points on the board. Well, 19 apparently, and
they're just not going to have the wattage to beat out the Jets.
There you go.
All right. Sorry. Oh boy, it's going to be an ugly, ugly program.
Yes.
Next, we got Tampa Bay at Philadelphia. Now, we don't agree on this, do we?
No, I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Tell me why.
I went back and forth on this one a bit, but I think why? Because they're at home. They're coming off a tough loss to Miami, and I think that they're just going to rally the troops, come out there. You're going to see a big game from DeMarco Murray on the ground, and they'll win this by 3 points.
If history repeats itself, and it has, and I've never been a proponent of Mark Sanchez, as you know. Matter of fact, knew when he was a Jet he was going to crash and burn. And I've said the same thing about Colin Kaepernick, just to let you all know out there. Little reminder, just as you think about him disappearing from the 49ers. But I just think that Sanchez, if history repeats itself, is going to throw a couple of key, bad throws this week.
Tampa Bay's defense has been playing very well. Top 10 in the NFL, I think.
Yeah, and I think that he'll find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, as he always has. And I think that that's going to cost him. I think this is a field goal. Just watch. It's going to be Sanchez's fault. And they lose this at home by a field goal.
I know we don't usually talk about spreads, but I think Philadelphia is a 7-point favorite on the spread here. That's not going to happen. I don't think.
Yeah. Here's one to be grabbing onto right now, I think. Yeah. Next, we got Oakland at Detroit. And let me just say, Detroit with another a big win, upsetting Green Bay last week.
What is wrong with the Packers?
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but the honeymoon's over. Oakland is not the Green Bay Packers right now. I think they've got too many offensive weapons. I think they go into Detroit, and they beat them by 10 points plus.
I'm going to agree with that. I like Oakland in this game. Green Bay had some trouble there last week. We'll talk about them in a minute, as we said. But Detroit is not a good enough team to beat Oakland in this game. Oakland is fighting for a playoff spot, and they have to win this one to stay alive, and they've got a lot of weapons. So I like Oakland to win. I like Bear Carr to have a big game as well. Mm-hmm. And Rodgers threw for over 300 yards in that victory for Green Bay. So Detroit's pass defense is not all that.
No, fair enough. Mm-hmm. Next, we have a very, very painful pick here. We have Dallas going into Miami. And the return of Tony Romo. And it's funny because I'm not a Dallas fan in any stretch of the imagination. I'm a Miami fan. And I've been on the Dallas side a couple of times this year, like on the wrong side of those picks. He even picked Dallas to win last week, right? And here I am now faced with the quandary of them coming into my team's hometown. And I can't see past Romo going in. And if he's game ready and they get the ball moving on the ground, because Miami has not been able to stop the run effectively this year, I think they win this game close. So here I am going against my own team and picking the Dallas Cowboys. Never would have dreamed this. But I'm picking them by 3 points. But what's even more aggravating is that you're picking the Dolphins.
I am picking the Miami Dolphins. I like what they did last week. They came up with 4 sacks. They had 3 forced fumbles, 2 or 3 forced fumbles there, and they had an interception. Their special teams played well. They
blocked as well.
Big upset against the Eagles there. And I think Miami is just starting to come into their own on defense. I see this as a close game. I'm going to pick Miami by a field goal.
And I think that's the sentiment here. This is a close game, and it could go either way. I don't fully believe that, all these Cowboys fans saying, well, if we had Romo, we'd have won those last 6 games. I don't believe that for a minute. And I contended at the beginning of this season that the difference with the Dallas Cowboys was going to be not having DeMarco Murray. So, and that has, I think, rang loud and clear. And they've had Darren McFadden step in there in that running back role, and he hasn't been, he's not hurt. That's a plus for Darren McFadden right away.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a glass jaw his entire career, but he's managed to stand in there and do some things. But it's not the same established run than when you got the likes of DeMarco Murray. And I think that's the difference. Romo coming back certainly doesn't hurt the team. I think it makes it better. And I'm picking Dallas to win this close only because I think it's just the moon and the stars align. So it's going to be a good game to watch.
I believe it's a low-scoring game, too.
Yep. Next we got Denver at Chicago. And I'm calling this the upset of the week. And I think, and then I'm going to wonder, am I in the weeds saying that? I'm picking the Chicago Bears at home to beat the injury-riddled Denver Broncos. In other news, let's face it. Last week they came off this 37-13 win in St. Louis. Against that,
to put up that many points.
The offense is clicking.
Actually, it was the biggest surprise of the week for me. Not that they won, but they put up 37 points on that Rams defense.
That Chicago team has been undervalued the whole year. They've lost a lot of games that when you look on paper, they're not as bad as they look. And I think that you're going to start to see, it's like Miami, you're going to see that team sort of gel a little bit more. Offensively, they look very good. I tell you who played really well this week was Jay Cutler. He had an incredible game. And I think they're going to continue that on. This thing about Brock Osweiler, I did see in Twitter, there's actually a third Brock Osweiler jersey out there.
Oh, is
that's
that right?
One that's not owned by him. So that's kind of cool. So we'll see if there's any more after this week. And he's out there saying Omaha, I don't know, man. I can't. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. I think Chicago takes advantage of the absence of Peyton Manning, who's been playing hurt for most of this year. I'm saying he hasn't played up to his potential. When you see the point differentials, when you got defenses scoring more points than Manning is scoring on the offensive line, there's problems. And he's got that plantar fasciitis now that he's dealing with. So God knows how long he's going to be out. And I'm saying that Denver's right for the picking. 7 points.
Okay. Chicago's won 2 in a row, I know that, and they're starting to really believe in themselves. They're starting to really believe that they can beat anybody. They're going up. I think that Denver comes up with a couple of big plays here on defense. I'm liking the fact that Denver's pass defense is one of the best in the game. The rush defense is one of the best in the game, and the Chicago running back that the new guy took over, Langford.
Yeah,
he's been doing a real good job as well. I think Langford's going to get his touches, going to get his carries. I see this as a close game, but I really think that Denver's defense, like they have been doing all year, can come together and win this game for Peyton Manning, who won't be in the game.
At least you're honest about it. It's not like when Tebow was there and they won 7 games straight. It wasn't about Tim Tebow. It was about that Denver defense.
Yeah.
And we're back in the days of Doomerville and these guys now. So the defense has gelled, but I see it the other way. I think they're wounded, and there's a bucket of chum around that with Sharks. So
I'm looking at a game that goes right through the fourth quarter. So
most games do go right through the fourth quarter.
Well, this one's going to be close right to the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guarantee it's close to the corner.
3 points, Denver.
All right, man. Next we got Kansas City going into San Diego, another fairly key matchup. And the reality is that I'm not going to say much about it. I just think that Kansas City's on a high now.
Wow.
They got a good team, and they've always had a balanced team. So, Alex Smith, I'm loving that, right? I love him out there and playing in that role, and we've always been fans of Smith. He's not a fantasy quarterback. He's not a flashy quarterback. let me tell you, he's one of those guys that you can rely on to get the job done. I'm thinking they play a balanced game and they beat Sandy at home by 10 points.
10 points? That's a lot for me, but I do like the fact. I remember in last week's picks, when I was talking about the Denver game, I said that was one I was really worried about. Knowing my team and knowing their history against Kansas City, I kind of had a feeling that something was up there. But I didn't see that the pounding that they did take, I didn't see that was going to happen. Now, Kansas City has a great pass rush. San Diego has the #1 ranked pass offense in the game with Phillip Rivers, who just seemingly is thrown for 300 yards almost every single game this year. And he's gonna. But right now he's without Keenan Allen, his #1. Keenan Allen was on. I believe he was about to eclipse the total receptions record for San Diego in a single season, and now he's gone down. So that's another target. You don't have Gates is not 100%. San Diego is hurting, and not only against a Kansas City team that is on a high. I look for Kansas City by 6.
Okay, we're on the right side of the ball there. Next, we got San Francisco going into Seattle. And this is just going to go Seattle's way, I think. They need to regroup. Tough loss this week.
I'm going to call this a blowout. Yeah, I really think that Seattle is due for one.
Yeah, I think you're going to see it on both sides of the ball, too. You're going to see, San Francisco, I think, dismantled.
Yeah.
Talk is that Colin Kaepernick's not even going to be there next year now. They're looking at getting rid of him.
Heard about that, yeah.
So I'm just waiting to see how that's all going to come together and where he's going to land.
As much as I respect San Francisco's defense and picked them for a real good upset there a couple of weeks ago, but this time Seattle they're at home, they're pissed off. Their defense has been playing well. For some reason, they give up a pile of points to Arizona, who is the best team in this division right now. I don't think we can argue that anymore. Seattle by 20 in this game.
20?
20.
A major feast of spaghetti and Italian red wine.
Yeah, big game for Russell Wilson. Let's call it that.
Some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Nice. All right. Next, we're going to go to the Green Bay Packers in Minnesota. Another one of these divisional rivalries. The 7-2 Minnesota Vikings.
5 in a row.
They're peaking at the right time. They're solidifying first place in that division, and I think I'm going to say that Peterson runs for 150 yards rush shot.
He had 200 last week.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's going to have 150.
Okay, I like it.
And I think that they're going to beat the Green Bay Packers in Minnesota by 10+ points.
I like that too. Green Bay has not been looking very good this year.
They're in a real pickle.
Yeah.
They're in a place now where they're not sure if they're contenders or not. And
a Green Bay offensive line that at the start of the season, many of the pundits, many of the experts were saying that it was one of the best in the game, has just not performed these past few weeks, and this is their biggest problem. And you got Eddie Lacy suffering because of that. Starks in the backfield, who came in for Lacy there. I mean, he's not having any great games either, and Rodgers is just under tremendous pressure in the passing game. So
you want to talk about another level of superstition too? I saw this on Twitter today. Since Mike Ditka came out and did that commercial for McDonald's in the States,
yeah,
with the Green Bay Packers jersey on,
yeah,
they're 0-3. Look at that, coach! Don't tell me it still don't affect the game.
He jinxed him.
That's right, he did, man. He did. And Ditka can do whatever he wants.
Ditka is Ditka.
Ditka. Next, we got Cincinnati going into Arizona. And I think this is an opportunity for the Cincinnati Bengals to put it together and show what they're really made of and show that they're a real contender and not a pretender. Because I think they are a contender.
Oh, I think they're a contender.
Lost this week. That was tough. 10-6.
Yeah.
So
they're still going to win their division.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
So they're hastening hopefully into a top seed.
Every team lays an egg some point during the season.
Yeah. So get it over the way. It's better than when you're 18-0 when you're playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. This is true.
Because that never happened.
Oh, maybe. 72 comes to mind.
Yeah, that's right. No, I was thinking 2000 and...
Oh, okay, that's
11,
right. You were,
wasn't it?
yeah, I thought you were. Yeah, that wasn't even 18 games at that point, was it? But
yeah,
no.
it was 18-1. It was 19 games.
Yeah, back when Miami had the perfect season, though, it was a 14-game season, wasn't it?
60.
60.
17 games. 17, no. 17.
Okay, good.
I'm pretty sure. We'll be
Okay.
corrected, I'm sure, if we're wrong.
Yeah. On we go.
Yeah. I think that this is going to be a shootout, though. I think there's going to be a lot of points put on the board here. You got some very, very capable teams, both sides of the ball offensively, that can score points, and I think that this is won by a field goal late. I think Cincy wins this in a shootout.
I'm going to pick Arizona to win this game because they're at home and tough place for Cincy to travel, a long way to go, and I think that Palmer has been, I think Graham said there last week that Palmer's been playing like a kid. That pretty much sums it up. He's had his best year of his career so far this year, and he got some weapons there outside, but it's the Arizona defense that impresses me the most, and I think that Arizona is going to win this game on defense by 6 points.
Okay. And finally, we've got the Buffalo Bills going into Foxborough to play New England Patriots, who got a scare this week because they were on the road, so there was magically no static in anybody's radios.
Yeah, it's not looking
The
at
balls were all deflated fairly well.
Bill Belichick on the sidelines going off his head because they were down by a point or two. Oh my God, my perfect season. It makes me want to puke.
I figured I'd light a fire on you there, buddy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is in Foxborough. And you got the Buffalo Bills, and you got Rex Ryan, who shot his mouth off once already about playing the New England Patriots. And you saw what happened then. And I don't see this getting any closer. I think Buffalo gives them a scare early. But they'll find ways to pull away.
38-17 New England.
But all that damage,
Bad game.
second half, they'll blow it away. I'd say this is fairly close to the first half.
Hope I'm wrong.
Me too. I hope somebody beats them.
Yeah.
Stick around, folks. We're going to tell you who our player and team of the week are. Next, we got the St. Louis Rams. Hi, we're back. And we're going to tell you all about our players and teams of the week. You want to start this time, Jen?
Sure, my player of the week is going to be Russell Wilson. My team of the week, Seattle Seahawks. I think they're going to come up with a big game here against San Francisco, and I see Wilson running and throwing the ball all day long. Maybe Javon Curse for a couple of touchdowns here. I think Seattle big. Wilson is a great game.
Okay. I'm going to pick the Baltimore Ravens in as much as I think they're going to beat St. Louis. And I think that Joe Flacco will have everything to do with it. So let's go with the quarterback. That's my picks for the week.
A couple of quarterbacks for your picks of the week.
A couple of quarterbacks. It's $1.25 quarter staff. All right. So that's the picks this week, folks. Got nowhere to go but up this week. 3-11 probably collectively. The irony is not lost to me. We both picked the same teams.
Yeah.
So
rough.
that is the worst of the worst. And,
Worst we've ever done.
That's right. So everyone lays an egg. You said that earlier about
That's
Cincinnati.
right. Now
So
it's
we
time
laid
to
ours.
bounce back.
Well, yeah, bounce. Well, don't go bouncing the eggs, man, because that's bad on them. Anyway, so remember, folks, drop in and give us a like on our page, our Facebook page. You can also follow us on Twitter. Certainly, you can send us an email at I-Formation@gmail.com. And we love your feedback, and we love all the banter this causes on the page.
Paul, let us know if we made any mistakes. Thanks.
Yeah, that's very important to us, and we read your letters. You should be getting ours from our solicitor anytime. So we'll see you all again real soon. Just remember too, folks, that it's important. Enjoy the game days, but respect the game, and don't drink and drive. That's very important. You got anything else to add?
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
What?
Early.
At least you waited until after Remembrance Day. All right, man. Well, it's good night for me.
That's a good night from him. Have fun.